coins, snacks, coins, snacks.
You ask, what do stunning coins and delicious snacks have in common?
Hi, I'm Jack McNamara, and I love stunning and rare coins. Oh, and I also love delicious and scrumptious food, too. Join me as I combine the best of numismatics and tasty treats into one show. Coin Snacks with Jack. Put down that tired bologna sandwich and spice up your lunch as I chat with some of the biggest names in numismatics and eat delicious snacks. From coin news and U.S. Mint releases to rare coins and numismatic oddities. From my all-time favorite coins to ancients and commemoratives, get your numismatic midweek pick-me-up with Coin Snacks with Jack. Plus, we'll eat snacks, lots of them.
Hey everybody, Jack McNamara here. Welcome to the first episode, the inaugural episode of Coin Snacks with Jack, your weekly dose of tasty numismatic treats. We're here every Wednesday, noon Eastern, 3 p.m. Oh, this is backwards. Noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern time to discuss coin news, new releases, rarities, oddities, ancients, commemoratives, everything you could think of having to do with coins. This is not your grandpa's coin show. We are going to have guests. We're going to talk unfiltered. There's no telling where we're going to end up. This is a coin party. Numismania is going to be running wild in here. We, as you know, love coins here. Coins are miniature pieces of history, miniature history books that you can hold in your hand, miniature works of art. They tell the story of America. They tell the story of the world. And besides these, tasty numismatic treats and tidbits, we're also going to have real snacks, cookies, cakes, everything that my cardiologist tells me that I shouldn't do. We're going to do it for you in the name of numismatics. So tune in every Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, at rarecollectiblestv.com, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. And to get all this done, I do have a little bit of help here. I have Nate, who's helping, run all the technology and the board. I have Colleen, who's going to help with my numismatic treats and snacks. Thanks, Colleen. And then we have Sofer, the mystery man, who will help kind of guide me along and remind me when I forget things and just keep me on track. So I want to, off the bat, introduce these people so you know who I'm talking to, but also say thank you to all of them for helping me, get through this exciting coin adventure that we're going to have here.
Thanks for the introduction, Jack.
Sure. So today, for our first episode, we decided to start with something big that is just so beloved, and we're going to talk about a coin that most argue is the most beautiful coin ever produced, not just by the U.S. Mint, but by any government, any mint, any country, and that's the Saint-Gaudens gold double eagle, the big $20 gold piece that we love. Now, these were designed by Augustus Saint-Gaudens. That's why we call it a Saint-Gaudens double eagle. They were minted from 1907 to 1933. Now, stay tuned till the end of the show here, and we're going to talk about the mythical 1933 double eagle, which is a important numismatic rarity, probably one of the most important coins in existence. But first, as I said, we are going to bring guests on this show. And this week, we have somebody that I never would have believed that we could get for this show. A man who does not mince his words, a true man of the people, a man who is known for his conservation efforts. He created the national park system. He was known for trust busting and siding with the citizens and the people over big business. And most importantly, around here, as numismatists, as coin geeks like we are over here, the thing he's most known for around here is the man who started the renaissance of American coinage. I'd like to welcome none other than Mr. President Theodore Roosevelt.
Oh.
Mr. President, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much, Jack. It's an honor to be here. I love seeing you on Rick's U.S. Coin Show on Rare Collectibles TV.
Well, thank you, Theodore. It's a pleasure to have you here. Let's get into it.
My gun's here.
Oh, you playing with your guns? All right, good for you. You don't shoot any bears today.
Oh, I saved that there, Jack.
Oh, you did save that bear. Let's get into it here. You're here because you have some great stories to tell. I understand that Augustus Saint-Gaudens, our topic today on the show, his double eagles in particular, but I understand that Saint-Gaudens had an issue with the U.S. Mint because they changed one of his medals. What happened there?
First of all, an issue is a real understatement. I mean, he hated the Mint, Jack. Oh, boy. One time in 1892, they commissioned him for the Columbian Exposition to make a medal. He made a beautiful medal. Obverse Columbus out here with his arms up, looking to the heavens, landing on the shores of America. The reverse, a young symbol of America.
Let's pause for a second and see that medal here on our screen. There it is. Beautiful medal.
Handsome gentleman.
Beautiful medal. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
No problem. Show the people what they need to see. So what happened was, I guess they didn't like the reverse because it had a little bit of a naked man, a little bit of a wiener on it.
As if Charles Barber?
Charles Barber saw it. He was like, no way, Jose, we cannot have this on our medal. No wieners here, right? He's never been to a ballpark. He's never been to a museum.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you go to a museum, ancient art. I mean, it's nudity is just part of it. It's not a obscene sexual thing. It's just the human form.
Everything in museums naked almost. It's like, what's going on, Barber? Anyway, he replaced the reverse without telling Saint-Gaudens one word. He replaced it with a placard.
He just neutered his design, just neutered it.
Gone, Jack.
You've never been to a Dodger game? Never seen a Dodger dog? What's the big deal?
Never been to a ballpark before. I don't know what this guy's doing. Never been to a museum. I'm getting pissed off myself, man.
So that was a big. Okay, so Saint-Gaudens was really, really aggravated, or as you say, he was pissed off at the Mint because the Barbers took his design, didn't tell him, just completely, just changed, didn't just removed his reverse, just put a whole new reverse on the coin, on the medal. Okay. All right. So understandably, he did not like the Mint. Okay. So after that, I understand it's customary. A new president takes office, which may be happening right here again in our nation soon. It's customary for a medal to be produced for the inauguration. Now, I understand that Saint-Gaudens designed yours. What's the story with that?
Saint-Gaudens, I reached out to him, and I said to him, look, I heard that one time you called Barber's medal retro more. Let's work together to make my inaugural medal.
But I thought the Mint makes the medal.
Excuse me, Mr. President.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Sometimes my hanky gets a little mixed up.
You might want to check your mustache too, Mr. President. Thank you. There you go.
There you got it. These things are always flying away.
So continue. So Saint-Gaudens worked on your medal, but also I thought the Mint makes the medal. So what happened here?
Well, I'm a man of tradition, a man of culture. I didn't want to ruin anything, so I let Barber make me a medal, but at the same time, I knew we needed some real art in this country, Jack. So I got Saint-Gaudens to make me one too. And boy, is it beautiful. Have you seen that?
So let's pause there for a second. First, let's see the medal that the Barbers made. That was the one struck by the Mint. Let's see if we can get that up here to show our audience. Yeah, that's actually a nice medal. Like, the bust, your profile looks good. You look dignified. Reverse is kind of bland, mostly just text. Let's see what your buddy Augustus Saint-Gaudens did for you there, Mr. President.
Can't
Oh,
wait.
wow. Now that's a work. That's a work of art. Now, the one thing, you know, first off, the Uverse, beautiful profile of you, if I do say so, Mr. President. You're facing the wrong way. There you go. Turn the other way. There you go. But the other thing that I notice about this, if we could put it up again for 1 second, is the reverse of this medal bears a striking resemblance to the design that Saint-Gaudens ended up using later down the line on the $10 Indian head gold piece. If we could show that for a second. The reverse of the $10. No, that's the $20. Let's see. Do we have a $10? Let's see. Here we go. And there it is. You can see very similar. Striking resemblance. And then if we could take it a step further, not to confuse Nate here, but that original Saint-Gaudens designed medal for the Columbian Exposition that we showed earlier with the naked man, if you notice the shield that man is holding on the reverse there, look at that eagle on that shield too. Again, almost the same design of an eagle perched on that fasces or that branch there. So very fascinating to me as a coin geek to see kind of the evolution of this eagle, which actually was taken, I believe, from an ancient coin that was the inspiration Saint-Gaudens used. So very fascinating. So I'm sorry we maybe got a little sidetracked, but did we get through that whole story of your inaugural medal there, or was there more?
Oh, we got it covered. We got it covered.
Okay, so this is kind of the evolution of Saint-Gaudens working with the U.S. government and with you, Mr. President Theodore. So fast forward a little later, you become president, and we understand you wrote a letter to the Secretary of Treasury Shaw saying that our coinage was of atrocious hideousness. What's the deal there? What happened?
I was at the Smithsonian Institution, 1904. I went in there, saw some Greek coins, high relief, beautiful. I said, we're America. We're the greatest country in the world. They did this thousands of years ago. Why don't we have some art on our coins, Jack? So I wrote the letter. I went right home. Done, sent, shipped. Immediately.
It's, you know, I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you were, you thought the coinage was of atrocious hideousness, because clearly the most beautiful coins ever created came, you know, from your push there. Now, I know originally you planned for Saint-Gaudens to redesign all of our coinage, I believe. He was going to do the gold coins and he was going to do the cent. What was your plan to do all of the coins, or just the gold coins and the cent?
I wanted every coin to be redesigned. Whether or not it was Saint-Gaudens, well, that was, as history shows, it didn't play out that way. But just to get the ball rolling, I needed to leave my mark as 26th president and get this thing going. We couldn't handle another 25, 30 years of barber coinage. All of those coins were the same thing. Have you seen them, Jack? Of course you've seen them. I've seen your show. Don't answer that. They're all the same. You can't do that. We need
Yeah, as you say, even you get the dime, the quarter, and the half, which you're seeing on your screen here right now, all exactly like you said, the same design. And if you look at the Liberty head nickel, it's, you know, it's basically they just kind of flip the head around and put a little different tiara on it. It's the same, you know. For them to say it's different they weren't really stretching too far.
They were getting a little bit lazy over there at the mint. Not gonna lie.
So, you know, unfortunately, Augustus Saint-Gaudens didn't make it to see other coins designed, just the double eagle and the gold eagle, because he passed in 2007. But clearly, you picked some other great people to carry that torch. You know, Adolf Weinman, who was a protege, had worked in Saint-Gaudens' studio for about a year in New York. You know, guys like Victor David Brenner, who designed a medal. You worked with him closely on the medal for the Panama Canal. You know, a lot of greats there. So of all of your numismatic accomplishments, what are you most proud of?
As far as the most amazing coin that we've made, the most stunning, beautiful coin we made, the Saint-Gaudens Gold Double Eagle. The biggest accomplishment that I had for numismatics. But, like I said before, I really wanted to get the ball rolling, pass the torch. This is not a me thing. I mean, it was my goal, but I wanted everyone to take part. And like you said, we got Adolf Weinman later. We got Anthony DeFrancisi. We got everyone in it. We got all the best artists.
James Earl Fraser, right.
There. And that's what I'm proud of, leaving my mark.
Well, we're as coin collectors, we are appreciative of your efforts because it has given us some beautiful, beautiful coins. Any final words, Mr. President Theodore Roosevelt, 26th president of our great nation? Any final words, Mr. President?
You know, I just want to say thank you guys for doing what you're doing. I'm up here in heaven watching your show, Rick's US Coin Show on Rare Collectibles TV. I see you hosting. I see Rick hosting. I see James hosting. You guys are doing a beautiful job. We project it over the sunset. We watch it huge screen. IMAX. What's IMAX? Don't ask me. I died a long time ago, but we're watching it big screen. Beautiful, beautiful show. Good work, everybody. Keep it up, Jack. Spread the word of this hobby.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Theodore Roosevelt himself, the Rough Rider, the 26th president of our nation, the man who spurred on the renaissance of American coinage. Thank you very much for joining us today, Mr. Roosevelt.
Thanks for having me. I'll come on anytime.
All right, I appreciate it. All right. How much fun was that? I get a kick out of it. I'm so excited that we have this show. Again, it's a little different than maybe what you're used to seeing. We're here having fun talking about coins. Hopefully you learn something, and we have a great time too. And as we said, this is Coin Snacks with Jack, so it's not just our snacks, just these tidbits of knowledge about coins that we're going to drop on you. It also is real snacks. So today, the lovely Colleen, what do you have for me here? Colleen here is making me some great snacks. Let's see what we have.
All right, there's something really special here. Now, this is caramel corn. One of the reasons we picked it is because you love history so much here on your show. So popcorn has been a snack for, I don't know, 5,600 years.
Wow, really?
So, yeah.
5,600 years?
5,600 years.
That's like as long as coins.
It's a long time
so
snack,
coins
right?
and popcorn are about the same age in popularity and civilization.
And it hasn't changed much, really. You know, maybe different varieties. But so what we've done here in 1893, they combined it with caramel, which was made with molasses. I think everybody used to have molasses in their pantry. But my family has been making this recipe since late 60s, early 70s.
Wow.
So ours is just caramel corn. But there's quite a bit that goes into actually making the caramel corn. It's kind of a scientific home experiment while you're making it, because you have to melt butter and brown sugar and Karo syrup, and then you have to boil it, and with a little salt, of course. And then you put in the baking soda, which creates carbon dioxide bubbles, and you get this transformation of this foamy, gooey caramel, which you put over your popped popcorn, and then you bake it, so you get a nice, crispy caramel corn. However, you must be very careful that you don't break a filling.
Okay.
But I hope you enjoy it.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, it looks delicious. You must have been up late. That sounds like a lot of work.
I was actually up very late. I think I made this at 11 p.m. last night. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate
we'll
it.
work on my time management also. However, if your guests enjoy it, if you enjoy it and you want to recommend it, we can always share the recipe with our website at rarecollectiblestv.com. So let me know.
Thank you so much.
All right, enjoy.
Is there a spider ring or a tattoo, temporary tattoo in here or anything?
We have to be careful with you. We don't want to give you too many hazards to work with.
Yeah, I am.
Just the caramel corn.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'm gonna try this right now. Oh, that's delicious. Mm. Mm-hmm.
Try to talk.
I probably should have had my snack during our guest segment so I could eat it while President Roosevelt was speaking.
I'm sure he would have loved it.
I'm gonna have trouble speaking and eating my popcorn here, my caramel corn, while I continue our discussion. Excuse me, on the Saint-Gaudens Gold Double Eagles, which we started with President Roosevelt. Now, the end of this series we talked about at the beginning, this renaissance of American coinage. President Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt, thought the coins were ugly. He was a patron of the arts. He thought that, coins should have, not only function, but some form and function. Why not have both? Why can't something be, beautiful even if it has to be used day to day? He pushed to get the best artists of the day. Of course, the number one guy he went to was Augustus Saint-Gaudens, who was the premier. He was just the great. There he is on your screen there, Augustus Saint-Gaudens. He was the man. Now, this series ends, strangely enough, with another President Roosevelt, Theodore Roosevelt's cousin, or second cousin, third, some distant relative of his, which was FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Now, the end of this series was not because FDR was some, horrible man who hated the arts and, wanted to punish numismatists. It was, he had his, valid, good reasons to end this series. Unfortunately, 1929, the stock market crashes. We're in the depths of a horrible depression. At this time, as banks were crashing, people were losing their jobs. People were online for food. People were online going to their banks trying to withdraw their life savings, only to find the doors shuttered and their life savings had just vanished overnight. It was a extremely difficult time for our nation. Now, at the time, these $20 double eagles, these weren't like today where they're just things for us collectors to ogle and enjoy. This was money. So, it's like, today we have dollar bills and dollar coins. Back then you had a $20 bill or a 20. People were hoarding gold. People did not want to spend their gold. They wanted to spend their paper money as fast as they could because they were afraid of inflation. They were afraid that that paper money would become worthless. But they knew that the coins would always have a value because of their gold content. So because of this, people were not spending the coins. They were hoarding gold. So Executive Order 6102 was signed by FDR, which made it illegal for private citizens to own gold. They had to redeem their gold. You had to turn your gold into the government.
When did he sign that, Jack?
He signed that in 1933. Do I have the date? Do you have the date? I don't have the date in front of me. I forget now.
He did sign it in 1933. Isn't that the same date as that mythical coin you were mentioning?
It is. Thank you, Sofer, for helping me with that. That is exactly right. And we will talk about that coin right now. Actually, the reason is no coincidence that this coin is such a rarity and such a mythical coin. So, 1933, before this order was signed by Franklin Delano Roosevelt, the Mint had already struck 500,000 double eagles. Now, they never got released. They never got... Oh, Lawrence Taylor's on the screen. Lawrence Taylor's on the screen. Now, as a Giants fan, as a kid, Lawrence Taylor was, my favorite player. Right up there, him and Harry Carson. But Lawrence Taylor, probably greatest defensive player ever. When you see Lawrence Taylor on that screen, that is the people in the studio here telling me that my energy is down and I am going to put people to sleep, which is not my intention because I am excited about coins and I am excited to be here, but I'm not used to being on TV when I talk about coins, so I need to get a little more fired up, like Lawrence Taylor when that ball was snapped and a quarterback was going back to dropping back. So I need to be a little more fired up here. So 1933, 500,000 coins struck, double eagle struck, Executive Order 6102 signed. Those coins never get released. They are returned to the melting pots to be destroyed. Never an official release. But what happened? So for what happened?
What happened? What happened, Jack? Didn't you say they all got melted down?
Well, they were supposed to all get melted down. But
stuff in the pockets.
A few snuck out. Yeah, somebody was stuffing their pockets. It's not sure exactly what happened, but by the 40s, some of these were showing up in auctions and collections, and the Secret Service started saying, these are still property of the U.S. government. These are not your coins. And they started reclaiming those coins, confiscating those coins, and melting those coins.
Like 10 years later, they were just like, we need these coins back.
They're like, these are ours, which to me seems random as a coin geek, because there's a very famous 1913 nickel where there are only 5 known, which apparently the mint has no record of ever striking those, and they were made at night by somebody who worked in the mint. Totally legal to own those. Secret Service never decided to go after those, so I don't know if it's maybe because it's gold, it has a different law or something, but for whatever reason it is, the Secret Service was very interested in these coins when they showed up. So they start showing up in collections and auctions. The government starts reclaiming them. During this time period, one ended up in one of the most important and famous coin collections of all time. Besides Louis Eliasberg, who happened to have one, first man to complete an entire collection of U.S. coins. He had one. I believe he voluntarily returned that one to the government, if I remember correctly. You're not going to tell me that
this ended up in Egypt, are you?
This coin ended up in Egypt.
Oh.
So one of these, not Eliasberg's coin, but one of these 1933 double eagles ended up in one of the most famous, storied collections of all time. The king of Egypt, King Farouk, who is a famous collector. Here he is on your screen right now. We love King Farouk. He's got that great handlebar mustache. He looks like Raleigh Fingers. So far, you're too young, but I showed you a picture the other day of Raleigh Fingers. When I was a kid, I loved getting baseball cards of Raleigh Fingers because he always had the awesomest handlebar mustache, even better than King Farouk, arguably. But now I'm kind of going off topic. King Farouk, he was a collector, and if you collect coins like me, and so many people I am friends with, most collectors you kind of just have a collecting bug or gene or something where you collect all kinds of stuff. I know a lot of coin collectors who collect watches and sports memorabilia or cars or guitars. I like football cards and stuff. So Farouk was one of these guys.
I heard he had some really interesting collections.
Are you talking about his stamp collection?
I'm talking about
his art collection?
I'm talking about his porn collection.
Apparently, King Farouk had an extensive collection of pornography, which I didn't know there was much pornography out there in the 1940s. But apparently, King Farouk, I guess if you're the king of Egypt, you can track that down.
You get whatever you want.
You get what you want. So King Farouk, who collected all kinds of things, was dethroned in a military coup. So the military comes in, takes over the government, throws Farouk out. Government takes over the palace. They have all these collections of things, and they decide they're going to sell them. So, actually, before I get there, Farouk, when he was buying his coins and collecting his coins, he worked with the premier coin dealers in the U.S. Dealers who were the top dealers, very professional, and when they would find coins for him in the U.S. and send them to him, they actually applied for export license. They did everything legally, everything on the up and up. So his coin was shipped legally to him, semi-legally. It was illegal to own, but for some reason the government issued an export license. Anyway, we'll get to that later because that's going to be an important part of this story. Farouk's dethroned. The military government decides they're going to sell off his collections. They hire Sotheby's to sell his collections. They need to catalog these coins. Sofer, what do you think? How do you think you prevent if you're a military government overthrowing the king of Egypt, and you want to ensure that some shifty American coin dealer isn't going to steal anything? What do you do?
I think you ask him nicely not to take any of the coins, right?
You would think, or even hold him at gunpoint, which I'm pretty sure they did as well. They actually made him strip naked, allegedly. This is the story, is that he had to come in there and strip naked and catalog the coins in the buff with his Dodger dog out for the world to, or at least a handful of Egyptian armed guards to see, to make sure he was not stealing any coins. So this famous collection is cataloged and sold under the name the Palace Collection. Sotheby's sold it, and guess what showed up in that catalog?
I hear that it was just like a list of coins. It just said like 1921, 1925, 1929, 1933.
Exactly. So it's interesting because today we're so used to, with modern technology, online pictures of coins, or even in print you have these pictures and these descriptions with the history of an important coin like this. Literally, oops, let me grab here. I should have had this out already, but literally, today when a coin like this sells, they would make an entire catalog dedicated to it. But back at the time when they were selling the Palace Collection, not only was there no big picture, not only was there no big write-up, but it was exactly as you said, Sofer. It was just like $10, $20 U.S. gold pieces with a list of dates. 1924, 1927, 1933. Now, did the cataloger kind of hide it in there because he knew it was something that was a little, controversial? I don't think so. I think it was just that it was such a new coin at the time that he didn't even realize that it was such a rarity. He was,
really slick.
Yeah. But anyway, the U.S. government notices that this coin is in this catalog, and they say, whoa, slow your roll here, military coup. Hold your horses. Stop the clock. You got a stolen coin there. That is our coin, and we want it back. So the Sotheby's says, whoa, we don't want any issue. We do a lot of business in the U.S. They pull the lot from the auction. So this lot just is not offered, not sold, pulled from the auction. But for whatever reason, it never is returned to the U.S. either. It's just not sold in the auction, but it's also not returned to the U.S. So what happened? Who knows? It disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to this coin. It kind of just vanished. Great question. So, fast forward to the 1990s. There's a coin dealer in England named Stephen Fenton. Who's a super nice guy. I've met him a few times. He used to come into Stacks in New York when I worked there. Now, he has a store. He has a guy from the Middle East who begins selling him some coins, some really rare coins. He shows up one day with a 1933 double eagle. Now, Fenton is a sharp guy. He knows what this is. He knows, wow, this is a big deal. He kind of pieces it together that this is the Farouk coin that has been missing for 50 years or so at this point. And he knows it's rare. He knows it's valuable. He knows it's important. He knows it's in demand. He knows there's collectors who will pay a lot of money for it. He also knows that if he puts this in an auction, or if he advertises this publicly in a coin magazine or any normal way that he might go and market it on his at that time there weren't really websites selling coins yet, but if he tries to go out there and advertise and publish this thing, he could run into some legal issues with the U.S. government. So, but he also knows that the most demand for this coin is going to be in the U.S., where you have U.S. collectors who want a coin like this. He somehow finds a willing buyer. He meets them in New York at the Waldorf Astoria, and he is going to sell this coin to this collector for $100,000, which for a 1933 double eagle would be a bargain. But you have to understand, at the time, this is an illegal coin. This is a black market transaction. So he meets this buyer at the Waldorf Astoria. Ends up, it was a sting. He got narked.
Narked on big time.
He got narked on.
With a SWAT team flying out of the air vents, just
Pretty much, yeah. So he is there trying to sell this coin. All of a sudden, he is, arrested. This is just, as far as the government's concerned, you stole from the federal government. They don't like that. The U.S. government does not like it. I mean, they show up, with their guns out. He's getting handcuffed, and he ends up getting arrested for selling this illegal coin. Believe it or not, this is like this little coin dealer. It seems like the most kind of harmless hobby in the world. All of a sudden, it's being treated like a crime scene here. So
I understand this ended up being kind of like lucky for him in a way.
It was now. So the coin, as you see here on the screen, this is the Farouk coin here. It's a gem. It's a gem coin. It's a beautiful, beautiful coin. So what happens? Stephen Fenton gets arrested. Government confiscates the coin. What do you're in the United States. What do? You're a Londoner. You're in the U.S. here. You get arrested. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. What do you do in the U.S.? You lawyer up. You lawyer up. Stephen Fenton gets a lawyer, apparently a very capable lawyer, who researches, I guess, in the National Archives, or I don't even know where you find this stuff. He finds, like I stated earlier, an export license. This guy locates a document where the federal government signed off on, he basically said, hey, we're exporting these coins for a collector. Here's the coins. And 1933 is listed on there. And he goes, whoa, hey, this coin's illegal to own. What's with the export license? Why would you issue an export license? What's going on? We got a little, conflicting information here. So the government says, all right, you got us. Somebody, I'm sure it was just an oversight. Some guy in customs or whoever is in charge of these export licenses just looks at it and goes, yeah, some gold coins, it's worth X amount of dollars, proper taxes are paid, yada, yada, good to go. But the government says, okay, we don't know what to tell you here.
Let him sell it.
So they go, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. Let's just take, let's put this in an auction. We'll take half. You take half. Everybody goes home happy. Now, the funny thing is, on top of it, they don't want all of a sudden, because over the years there had been about 10 or so confiscated, something like that. There were rumors of a couple others floating around in Europe. Government doesn't know if another one's going to turn up or not, so they go, this is the only one that's legal. No, you can't own another one of these. This is the one. We're going to auction it. We're going to split the proceeds. We're going to have a certificate that's issued with this coin saying this is the only one that could ever be owned privately, outside of the U.S. government, outside of the Smithsonian. Let's see if you can even see it here. There's a picture of it. I should have. So they issue this document. It says this is the only one. On top of it, what do you think they do? What does the government like to do? They like their books balanced, right?
I have a feeling that $20 it's got to come from somewhere.
Exactly. So their claim is this coin was never legally removed from the government. It wasn't paid for, wasn't exchanged for. So they say at the end of the auction, also, you got to add $20 onto it. This coin, by the way, is the most important coin probably there is, outside. The only coin maybe more important is probably the 1849 $20 gold piece. There's only one of those that's in the Smithsonian. So this is pretty much as important of a coin as could ever exist. There's only one known. It's a double eagle. It's a beautiful, beautiful gem coin. It's got everything. The most beautiful artwork, the greatest story. It's gem quality. There's only one of them. I mean, this is like the greatest coin that could exist. So they put it in auction. It's such a big deal. It's literally its own auction. Like usually you go to an auction, there's 1,000, 1,500 different lots of things being sold, artwork or coins or whatever kind of auction. You go to a farm auction, there's hundreds of items being sold. This is such a big deal that Sotheby's and Stax, so my old company Stax that I used to work for, and Sotheby's, the biggest auction house in the world, combined efforts. They did this as a joint venture, and this is the only thing in that auction was this one coin. Coin sells for $7.6 million in 2002.
That's why Fenton was lucky, huh?
That's why Fenton was lucky. He was going to sell it for $100,000 and risk getting in trouble, which he did, and ends up selling it, splitting the money with the government. I'm sure he had to pay some lawyer fees, which were probably fairly hefty, but I think he probably still managed to. Okay.
He took home the bag.
Yeah. So besides $7.6 million, the government couldn't just balance their books with that. They needed to add $20 on top of that to make everything reconcile properly. But,
Pinching pennies over there.
Exactly. Now, there's a book written about this, and this is a great book, Illegal Tender. Gold, Greed, and the Mystery of the Lost 1933 Double Eagle. This is a great book, and it literally is like it's a crime novel. And it's written by David Tripp, who actually is, I guess, my second cousin. It's my mom's first cousin. So, again, numismatics in my blood. So, my grandfather got me into collecting, which was his uncle, and my grandfather's grandfather got him into collecting. So my great-great-grandfather had sold coins in the late 1800s, advertised for sale. So my great-great-grandfather is his great-grandfather. So anyway,
this is deep.
Anyway, this relative of mine, David Tripp, wrote this book, and it's an awesome book. He also helped write this catalog. He used to work for Sotheby's. Great story, though. Afterwards, through a lot of research, it's found that, all of the coins that kind of had been taken back by the government over the years seem to trace back to one guy in Philadelphia, a guy named Israel Swit, who is a jeweler who had been arrested for dealing gold after the executive order was passed, after it was illegal. So after this auction happens, like a year or so, a couple of years later, a woman comes out with 10 coins, says, "Look what I found in my safe deposit box."
10 1933?
10 1933 double eagles.
Not often you find 10 holy grails in a safety
Yeah,
deposit
exactly.
box.
Yeah, one was enough, and now 10 is just like unbelievable. So 10 coins, what does she do with them? She actually takes them to the government and says, "Are these real?" Which sounds at first glance, you think, what are you, crazy? Why would they're going to just take them? But she had actually worked with the same lawyer Fenton worked with, who suggested this way it was, the burden of proof kind of is more on the government. If you give them to them, it's harder for them to keep them. But if they find out you have them, it's easier for them. I don't know. It was a legal maneuver.
Taking them away in auctions when they pop up. If they don't.
Right. So it was a legal maneuver. It went through several appeals. Those 10 coins are now in the Smithsonian. So we know how that story ends. And the government has not changed their position that this one coin sold in this auction for $7.6 million, now approaching 20 years ago, is the only coin legal to be privately owned. So that's kind of the story of basically the story of the Saint-Gaudens Double Eagle. We focused a lot on the 1933 because it is the most important rare coin there is. There's literally just one that could be owned in private hands. I've actually never seen this coin in person, but actually no, I did see it in person. It was on display at the New York Federal Reserve for a little while. I did get to see this coin in person. But I was really blessed a few years ago. I got to go to the Smithsonian in Washington, D.C. with my kids and see other incredible coins, but among them I don't think they had all 10 or 11 coins that they have 1933s on display, but they had a bunch of them on display. I saw at least 5 or 6 of them. There was a bunch of these on display, which was really, really exciting for me. But that's kind of the story of the Saint-Gaudens Double Eagle in a nutshell. We've handled some really tremendous coins lately. Anything kind of after 1929 there's other rarities in the series, but anything after 1929 is a real rarity because most of those coins stayed in the mint vaults, never had gotten released by the time that executive order was passed. So when they come up, most of those coins are 6-figure coins. We've recently sold some of these coins from 1931, 29. Some of these coins, late coins in the series, which are mega rarities. If you're interested in coins like these, contact our private advisory coin team. We have advisors who are great at working with you, finding out what fits in your collection, what kind of things you're looking for, and then I go out and I look for these coins. I offer coins when I'm offered them from collectors or dealers. They come up we know who's looking for them. So contact us, and we're happy to build a collection for you. And it doesn't have to be six-figure rarities, but we will look for those hard-to-find coins for you, and that is just what we do here. Now, if you have other questions or comments or requests about the show here, Coin Snacks with Jack, I hope you enjoyed it today. I had a great time. We're figuring out how to do this with the modern technology. It's really exciting. But if you have any questions or comments about the show, please send us an email it's coinguys@rarecollectiblestv.com. If you have ideas for snacks, ideas for topics for future shows, questions, comments, we'd love to hear them. coinguys@rarecollectiblestv.com. And next week, stay tuned. Like I said, every Wednesday we're going to be here. Noon Pacific, 3 Eastern. Next week we are going to have a very special guest, good friend of mine. We're going to be talking about the famous Larry Miller collection, which was a really big deal, multi-million dollar collection, mega rarities. It was auctioned last month. A friend of mine named Kevin Lipton, who helped build this collection with Larry, was a friend of Larry, and we're going to talk about some of the most rarest of rare coins, some $1 million Morgan dollars, $1804, all kinds of mega rarities. Join us next week. We'll be talking about that. I'm really excited for that show. And make sure you tune in here every Wednesday, like I said. Noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We're at rarecollectiblestv.com, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Streaming live, talking about coins, numismania, running wild, having the time of our lives, geeking out over coins. Love to hear from you. And I'm so happy to be here. And I want to say thank you to everyone